how are you? I'm a little early, I'm setting up. All right, let me pin the comment here. Pin comment. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. We're a little early. Waiting for Patrick to join. Darnell, hey, miss you in this quarantine world. Hope everybody's doing good in quarantine. If you're going to be watching, if you have questions, I just want to mention there's the question box at the bottom. Because I want to get viewer questions that we can ask besides my own. Darnell, miss you. So Patrick should be joining anytime now. I'm just hanging out. But yes, if you have questions, feel free to add them in the box. I will be asking questions live while I'm talking to Patrick. I don't know if any of you all have used Ceylon before. I definitely have, and would recommend it. What's up, Dane? What's up, Kenneth? Hope y'all are good in this quarantine. Wait, let me make sure Patrick's not in here. I can tell. Well, there is a light on, Darnell, but thank you. So Patrick will be joining us from LA. I know California, it's a lot going on with those fires. I want to ask him about that too. Who else is here? Okay, Patrick's here, so we're gonna start.
Are we on?
Patrick, how are you?
Doing great, Kenneth. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Do I need to put in headphones or how's everything?
I know you're good. I can hear you really good.
Oh, perfect. Cool. Don't mind the background noise. I'm outside just trying to get a little bit of fresh air. You know how it is.
Oh no, you're good, as you should. And what, you're calling in from California, right?
Calling from LA. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're good with, I know there's a lot going on with the fires out there.
Yeah, we are, we're dealing with a lot of the smoke from the fires. There's a fire up just north of LA, over in Angeles Forest, and then of course, everywhere else on the West Coast is really struggling. But I think that, it's a bit of wind today, so, but I think, they're still working on getting it contained. So one thing, I feel like, this year, one thing after the other. So I think at this point we're just used to whatever plot twist they have in store for us.
I know. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're safe, and thanks for joining us on the live today.
Yeah. How are you guys in New York City? I'm sure I hear things are starting to open up. It's getting really exciting. It's a summer.
Yeah. Wait, I think you froze up for a second. Okay, we're back. But actually, so New York was not playing when this pandemic started. We hunkered down, so our rates have been really low. So I actually was at the gym this morning for 2 hours, and like actually went to a restaurant
Love
outside,
it.
like night to see life in the world opening up a little bit. But still playing it safe. Obviously, still wearing a mask. But yeah, hopefully we'll get to normal life at some point in our lives.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I have to say, I'm really excited to talk to you today for two reasons. One being I'm just a skincare addict, and the other reason is that Mobilizing Our Brand Initiative, we center ourselves in health and wellness for men, also for people of color in general. So it's really exciting to like see a brand, serve underserved communities, especially, people of color. So yeah, that's one. And I remember when I first came across Ceylon, I think it was on social media, which is really exciting. So now, to be working with you all and, learning more about you and the brand is really cool. So I guess to kick off things, if you just want to tell us about, yourself, actually what brought you to skincare and, creating this brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So years ago, I was a U.S. diplomat working in mainland China, and I was really struggling with my skin. Dealing with a lot of the same issues we're starting to see here, which was excessive pollution, the stress of the job, really just going through it. And at that point, I didn't really have a skincare routine. Part of that was, I didn't know a lot about the products, but the other side was, I was worried about the same thing that a lot of guys like us worry about. Bleaching. You're sitting there thinking, this is going to whiten, or they say, brightening when they really mean whitening. And, all these different things that can happen to your skin, irritation. So for me, I was just like, I don't want to burn my face off. I don't want, have something that is going to hurt me. So I didn't really use anything. And so I started to kind of experiment a little. I ended up using about, a few hundred different brands, and I was trying literally everything, going to different countries in Asia, buying different things. My dad was sending me soap, and really was just working on trying to figure out what worked for me. The truth is that there weren't many things out there that work well for pigmented skin because we're not the core audience that gets developed for in the scientific process. So I ended up working with Dr. Lynn McKinley Grant, who's the current Skin of Color Society president, on formulating the kind of brand that would make sense for, guys like you and I, right? Guys who want to be able to have something that's simple, that's effective, but especially using the best in class research for skin of color to be able to actually deliver results for people like us. Because, we suffer from a lot of skin issues disproportionately. Some as many as, as much as anyone else, but we don't really have that full range of products out there that works for us. So that's really what compelled me to get into the business and to start the brand. And since it's been quite the ride. I think both the side of actually working on the science and continuing to develop, but also the brand building and really working on developing the kind of brand that I think speaks to the culture behind what we're trying to do, right? Grooming and wellness culture that centers men of color. So that's really for us kind of the next stage of where we're going, is saying, okay, how do we expand this to be able to, one, answer all these different health challenges that are going on, but also make this a bigger movement than just, okay, we have a brand and that's simply what we're doing.
No, love that. I mean, in terms of creating a skincare brand that caters specifically to men of color, what would you say are some of the like unique issues that our skin has that wasn't in the market that Ceylon provides?
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's a whole host of things. I think, a lot of people don't realize, if you have pigmented skin, you're actually more susceptible to acne, to inflammation, to scarring. These are things that happen to you because of the way our skin is. It's not something that is necessarily talked about. And a lot of the treatments out there, the way they look at it is they say, okay, well, if you get acne, we're going to actually treat the acne on the surface. If you get scarring, we're going to bleach it out, right? So these are issues that we face. We're very susceptible to issues around inflammation, the way that our skin reacts once something has happened. So building a product that actually functions well for us is really less about going out there and saying, okay, I see you have these dark spots, I'm going to bleach them out of your skin to get it back, but preventing them from happening. That's how we approach the process. I think, as you've seen, you're big into skincare. There's a lot of things where it's like after everything has happened, you are you're trying to do it. You know, you're after you've already got these little dots, you've already got these little scars. Okay, now we're going to go and use a product. So how do we actually build a product around the culture for guys like us that takes us into the zone of preventative care, right? Something that helps our skin stay and remain healthy. So that ultimately we can go and we can say, oh yeah, like, you know, I don't really have these issues. Because for me, for example, you know, one of the big things I saw was that it was more important for me to prevent things from happening than to actually worry about what happened after the fact. You can prevent, the key is to prevent acne, not to treat it once it's there, because once it's there, it's going to go through the process. Your skin is going to go through that healing process, that turnover. Those little pimples are going to burst. You're going to get the spot, you're going to get the scar, and then you have to wait, you know, 4 to 8 weeks for it to come back. So how do you get the skin to be in a healthier state to where those things don't happen? And if they do happen, how do you get it recovering much faster?
So speaking of, preventing breakouts and, treatment for your skin, I don't have the products here, but I do use them. I kind of want to go through each product, this talk, and just get your input on, I guess, or like what makes them different. So the first, obviously, is cleansing. Can you tell us a little bit about, what makes this product great?
Sorry, I'm moving to a spot to see if we can get some better lighting. Better lighting. How's that? Is that better?
No, that's good. Yeah.
All right, cool. Wait, so sorry, you were saying that the cleanser. You want to start with the cleanser, right?
Yeah, like the benefits of your cleanser, why you should use a cleanser. Maybe an obvious question, but yeah, what makes your cleanser, stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. So our cleanser is formulated to, I think, you know, to kind of like frame the overall picture, right? Is that a lot of the cleansers you see, they either have these little bits in there, or they're pretty harsh. They're going to strip the oils from your skin because the idea is, you know, how are we getting the dirt from the surface? And what happens is they're taking everything off. Our skin naturally has an oil balance that is essentially going to keep the moisture levels regulated at the top layers of the surface of the skin, right? So for our cleanser, what we really wanted to do was say, how do we develop a cleanser that, one, can remove the dirt off the surface of the skin, two, prepare the skin for an additional boost of moisture later, but also really help, you know, set that surface so that your skin isn't losing all this oil and then reproducing. Because what often happens when you have acne, you have people say, oh, I have oily skin, I have oily skin. Do you have oily skin, or are you using a product that's forcing your skin to reproduce a lot of oil, right? There's a key difference there. And I think that a lot of people really don't understand that, right? Or there are people who say, I have dry skin. Is it dry skin, or is it that your body's not able to actually keep the moisture because it's always coming off from that cleanser? So for us, that's really one of the big things that we wanted to achieve with that, was to really have something that was super gentle. You can use it any occasion. I mean, you could use a cleanser like this on any part of your head. Sometimes, you know, when I cut my hair and I have it down to being bald, I'll put it on top of my head because I know that, you know, for someone who wants to not have a dry scalp, actually the cleanser can go up there too. So it's really effective. And that's what our cleanser does. That's the way we developed it, right? To help you. Your skin is exceptionally powerful and it has a great ability to recover. And, you know, we're not here trying to fight it, right? We're here trying to help it do what it does best.
For sure. So I've known, just for my personal skincare, I usually always use an exfoliant because I have oily skin, and then just like, in my beard, I just don't want like ingrown hairs.
Yeah.
Like when I travel, I use your brand, and I've noticed that like it cleans my skin better than the exfoliator. If I'm not sure if it's the cleanser or the toner, but I mean I love your toner. But between
It's the moisturizer. It's the moisturizer. So our
is that
moisturizer is an exfoliator as well as a moisturizer.
oh, well, didn't know that.
So that's a yeah. So we have so in our formulation, you know, our approach was not to say, you know, you'll get all these brands out here that will give you higher and higher percentages of acids and all these things that you don't need on your skin. The truth is, your skin is naturally going to turn over, right? 4 weeks. That's how long it takes. 28 days to really turn over. But we said, look, one of the key ways that this is helping you, right, is helping heal. So in our moisturizer, in addition to moisture, we actually put alpha hydroxy acids there, a double alpha hydroxy acid combo. It's lactic acid and glycolic acid. And what this does is this helps the skin renew itself a little bit more quickly. We put them at very low percentages. And so for a lot of people, there's an effect where the texture of the product, you know, it's a little bit, you can feel like it's, some people say, oh, it's got a little stick to it, right? But what that is that's that those alpha hydroxy acids being put down to the surface of the skin. And while exfoliators can be drying, ours actually is not drying because the percentages on those are so low that they're actually assisting the skin without, like, you know, quickly sloughing that skin off. So your skin is moisturized, it's naturally helping maintain that balance. We're simply assisting it doing something that's already going to do, but at a little quicker rate that's going to actually provide additional healing effect. So that was really, you know, something that we wanted to try, is something that you don't often see with a lot of brands, which is to say, you know, they want to sell you additional exfoliator. We said, well, you know, here's a place where we can have it be on the surface of the skin, really helping your skin do the work it wants to do.
Yeah. Okay, well, the next product is my favorite product in general, but so most people I've noticed when they use toner, they'll spray it like on a cotton or like a sheet thing and do it. But I literally spray my entire face in toner and let it sit and then wipe. And I've noticed when I use your toner and do that, it gets all the dirt off. Like, it's extremely clean and my face is fresh. So let's talk about toner. What's in it? What makes it great? The importance of toner.
Yeah, so the toner is really useful. It's an astringent. So what it's doing is helping close the skin up a little bit, you know, for healing. You need an astringent to help kind of with the skin healing process. And that's, you know, from the wish table in there. The other thing that we really like about toner is that it helps restore the pH balance. So when you use a cleanser, the pH balance of the skin goes down quite a bit. Your skin naturally acidic. Sorry, am I frozen? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, frozen, but I can still hear you. May have to. Okay. There we go. You're back. You're back.
There we go. I feel like Instagram's like, we don't want y'all using that toner. No. So, so basically, toner is great at helping restore the pH balance of the skin. It's also exceptionally good at helping get the additional dead skin cells out. So, for example, when you wipe with those cotton pads or with the cottons when you use the toner, right? Some of that is just dead skin coming off the surface that has been waiting to kind of come off, and it didn't come off with the wash. So that's some of that being removed. The final thing ours does is it helps add additional moistures. You know, we have glycerin in there. We have a little bit of hyaluronic acid in there. What it's doing is helping prepare the skin for additional moisture with the moisturizer. We actually updated the toner. So, you know, I know the old bottle, that older unit is that spray one, but we now have this really great mechanism, like a flip top. So what it is we made it a bit bigger because it was a thing that everyone ran out of most. We upgraded a little bit and we made it into a flip top cap. So now when you take the cotton pad, you actually just press down gently and can wipe it off without losing and wasting the toner on the face. So some key upgrades that we've made with the new product updates. But yeah, toner is super essential. I think a lot of guys, you know, they discover that toner is not the thing that they had in their routine that they all of a sudden need. And, you know, it's good to always experiment with different ones. We like a few ourselves, but for me, you know, same as ours just works the best. It really helps keep the skin balanced and helps like any little things that are going on my skin. It's like you use toner and it just goes away.
Yeah, toner by far is my favorite product. Next to moisturizer. So you told me earlier that your moisturizer actually has exfoliant in it. So tell us a little bit more about your moisturizer and the importance of moisturizing.
Yeah. So moisturizing, as you guys know, it's a great way moisturizers have different functions, but ours is really about helping insert some additional moisture into the skin and then creating a barrier. So our moisturizer, of course, is also an exfoliant. It has exfoliating ingredients in there. And so it's like this balancing that's very, very delicate. You don't see in a lot of moisturizers, which is the dual exfoliation and moisturizing technique. An additional thing that we actually added was professional grade niacinamide in the new formulation. And so what it's doing is that's combining with all these different ingredients. So we've got hyaluronic acid, lactic glycolic acid, niacinamide, all working, and then, you know, chamomile and lavender to calm the skin down. So it's like this beautiful, harmonious, you know, concert happening in there, right? Where we're helping the skin turn over, but we're keeping it moisturized and maintaining the balance, but helping the skin tone, even helping the texture really improve with that niacinamide. And so what you're achieving is really a supreme texture, and you're going to see results that we think, outstrip anything else out there with fewer steps. So that's really the key for what we're doing. And with the moisturize, I think, it's been a popular product, I think, for a lot of people, and it's clear why. For us, what's next to add on top of that is to really have something that works super well in our sunscreen, which we are working on. So we're trying to get that out. It's going to really be something that adds to that moisturizer.
I think you're still with us, but you might be frozen. Oh wait, no, you're back. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Oh.
So now that we through kind of like all the products, I want to kind of talk more about the business side of things. Just given the political social climate right now. I'm really all for supporting Black-owned businesses. So it's exciting to talk to a Black business owner. So what I guess would you want to speak to when it comes to entrepreneurship or starting a business for someone that may be interested? Like what did that process look like for you? Like, had you started a business before? Just kind of talk us through what that looked like to creating this skincare brand.
Yeah, I mean, so I think for me, creating the business was, I'd had a couple of projects before that were very similar to this business. So, for example, I started a studio with friends where we were doing creative work for clients and really understanding how to, go and take sort of a creative idea and take that to market. We took something where we were building a project and made it to a patent, and then working with brand, like basically people who wanted to update their brand. And so for me, I think, creating this business was both the idea of doing something that's exceptionally difficult in the scientific space and the healthcare space, but also really an exercise in brand and design and developing the kind of culture around some kind of product that I think would be really great to see. As far as building the business, it was similar to a lot of people who talk about building their businesses, that, there's this idea that, you have to have a lot of perseverance. I got told no a million times when I started to build the idea. I went to a trade show to go find a manufacturer, and every single person at that trade show laughed in my face, right? And was like, this isn't really a thing. It's not going to be viable. What you're doing, you're too small to do this. And so the idea was never like, okay, well, they're right. The idea was like, cool, like these are the people you don't need to work with, right? And so I think in my experience as a Black business owner, and as a business owner overall, was this sense that, there will be people who help you build this and work with you to build this vision. But the idea is that it's not going to be as easy for you to identify who those people are and who those people aren't without actually putting yourself out there. So that can be exceptionally challenging. I think that's, been my experience. I think the other side of that is that when you are a Black business owner, it's obviously more challenging for you to access things like capital and certain resources that other entrepreneurs may have. But, at the same time, I think there are a lot of people who've come before you who've built successful businesses, and part of it is talking to them, but also having a better understanding of the kind of resources that you have available to you, the community that rally around you and the people who care about what you're doing. Because, often what we're doing is we're not just making something and hoping it exists in the world, right? We're often making something that is for us, and trusting and believing that, for the most part, building something like this, like we are ready to support each other. And that I think is really special and something that often gets overlooked among, among the story of being a Black entrepreneur, is that, it's other Black people out there supporting you and wanting you to win and wanting you to succeed and wanting you to thrive. And that I think is exceptionally powerful.
For sure. Definitely want to support, Black businesses, especially given the current climate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's that?
No, I say absolutely. I think the current climate accepted, I think it's one of those things where there was this moment in the spring, especially when we were with this issue and it was becoming really big, and it was kind of like, I think as a lot of people will say like, well, we're ready to support Black businesses now, but there were a lot of people who.
No, we lost. Okay.
to acknowledge, and that's really important.
So I'll do questions from the viewers in just a second, but there was a question that came through on the feed that I don't want to forget. So it was by Fork Boy. So they want to know, will you be offering larger size products in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're working on so at least for where we're going next, we're definitely looking at launching larger sizes of a few of our products. One of the things I think that really for us we try to think about is where is this going to live for you, you know? Because we're a small company, because we have limits on what we can create, a lot of what we build is meant to kind of live in at home in the bathroom, but also with you on the go. And so with that kind of dual challenge, we want to be able to kind of accommodate that. But I think in the future for us, for sure, definitely larger sizes, stuff that's kind of bulked up a little bit. That's definitely where we want to go. I think in our next version of the skincare set, we're definitely going to be making another size adjustment. To me, that's really important to be able to kind of match again the way people are using it and the different habits. So for sure.
And piggybacking off of the conversation we had about business, what's been, I guess, the most rewarding moment, in bringing this, product line to life?
I mean, most rewarding the community. It's here's what I'll say, right? When I started this brand, the idea was I fully believe that there are guys just like me out there who are going through what I'm going through and want to see something like this exist in the world. The fact that we have a community that's come around and has validated that, I think is been the most rewarding thing for sure. It's not about being right, it's about being in service to the community of guys like us. That's the biggest thing, right? When you look around, you realize, yeah, this is really something that guys like us were going through, and we needed something like Ceylon. So that to me is really rewarding because it means that we keep going. You can keep going. I think if no one wanted it, you might have to think very differently about what it is. But as long as you have people around you, you always have opportunities to keep building and keep winning and validating and creating something that is meaningful to people like us in the world, which is so, 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 so important.
Love that. Another question. So Kendrick Walker asks, is there any particular sunscreen that you would recommend?
Of course, we get this question all the time, which is why we're working on a sunscreen. But a few of our favorites. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you, yeah.
All right. So a few of our favorites are there's one called Thank You Farmer. That's really good. That's a personal favorite of mine. That's something that it just kind of goes in pretty simple. A friend of mine introduced me to that brand. There's one Black Girl Sunscreen. We're good friends with the founder there, Black woman founder, Shantae. She's really great, and I think that's a great brand. Um, After that, I think those are kind of the two that for me personally I use often. So yeah, those are the two at least we would recommend that kind of come close to what we think there should be. So again, we're working on our own and we're doing our best to get it out as quickly as possible.
No, that's good to know. Actually, a friend of mine was telling me that I need to, honestly, I don't use sunscreen unless I'm at the beach, which I probably should. But, but I, I'm like, after 3 products and, maybe, after then it gets a bit much. Um,
I mean, the sunscreen thing, this is the thing. I totally understand you don't use it, but you absolutely, absolutely, absolutely need it. For example, what a lot of people don't know is that African Americans, African Americans, often when we are diagnosed with skin cancer, as a result of sun exposure and all these different things, we're twice likely to die
oh,
than yeah, this is the thing that a lot of people don't know. So the truth is, yes, like, are you protected to a certain extent? Yes, right. But after, a few minutes out in the sun, you're getting burned. Your skin is aging just like anyone else. So the truth is, you're just as susceptible because even if you have very, very, very dark skin, which, has a bit of a natural SPF, that number is so low that it doesn't actually account for wearing a sunscreen that's going to be, at least SPF 30, right?
yeah.
50 is great, and one that has UVA and UVB protection. You can think of UVA and UVB as UV aging and UVB, right? UV burning. Often UV burning, rays, those aren't, you're not going to feel that because you probably don't burn, but UV aging for sure. But the truth is it's still affecting your skin and still giving you sort of that preponderance for skin cancer. And the truth is, yeah, if you come up with people like us, if we get skin cancer, we are truly more likely to die than anyone else. So this is a very big health thing, and I implore you and everyone else, like, absolutely, when you are outside, put on sunscreen.
All right, note to self, add sunscreen to my skincare regimen and everyone else. Oops, sorry. So another question came through. This is from Peach Ivy 35. So she wants to know they want to know what's your biggest challenge been so far?
The biggest challenge I think so far has been, I think, it's figuring out what's next for the company. It's very, I think that you obviously have your challenge of actually going and making the thing and taking it to market and selling it. But strategically, the biggest challenge is deciding what's next. Where do you go from here? Once you are actually selling a product, how do you go and how do you build something that continues to serve the community that you want to elevate here, but also continues to further the mission of what we're doing. So I think that's always the biggest thing. Is it more content, more media? Is it more products? Is it doing more advertising? Is it partnerships? What's the right way to continue to build? And I think that that's something that for us, continues to be a challenge. But I think it's something that as we continue to answer that question, it's more exciting. It gets more and more exciting because it takes us to new creative spaces and allows us to become more than what we are today.
I'm going to take about like 3 more questions. Samir is asking, so we see a lot of celebrity skincare lines. Why was it important for you to work with a dermatologist?
I mean, we want to have a product that works. I think that the truth is celebrity skincare lines are just merch. They can tell you, they can go out and they can get a stock formulation and they can say, hey, you listen to my music or you love my movies or whatever, and so therefore you love me enough to go and buy the product. That's what a celebrity skincare line is, right? It's about telling me that you love me, the celebrity. They don't care about your skin. They don't care about your outcomes. They have access to dermatologists and estheticians and people who are paid many, many, many more dollars than any of us will make combined to keep them looking great. So the truth is, when you buy a celebrity skincare line, it's not something that's a labor of love. It's not something that's a labor of trying to actually create a skin solution for people like us. It's the same as buying a concert T-shirt. It's the same as buying, tickets to a virtual show. That's what it is. And that can be nice for some people, and that honestly can probably work for some people. But for us, that's not really what we want to do. We partner with a dermatologist because we actually want to create the kind of products that work really well for skin of color. The idea is that you go out and you see that we're not the ones who are put at the center of dermatology. We're not the ones who are at the center of studies. We're not the ones that these treatments are created for, right? So ultimately, it's important for us to be able to go and say, look, we work with someone who is at the top of their field in this.
Yeah.
And we're providing the kind of solution that matters, not something that is just, it's something that comes and goes and it's a trend. We don't do trends, right? So that's why I think it's important for us to really lean into what we're doing as far as, going and working with the top dermatologists in skin of color, but also leaning into that science and making something meaningful.
No, for sure. So the dermatologists that you work with, do they specialize in, I guess, people with skin of color?
Dr. McKinley Grant she's Harvard trained. She edited the text in the field, Visual DX. She's at Howard University right now at their dermatology department, but she's also the president of the Skin of Color Society, which is an organization of hundreds of dermatologists across dozens of countries that are all working on advancing the science behind skin of color. So I mean, we only would focus on this if we were actually able to deliver, and that's the truth. We work with the best in the business as far as this angle of dermatology goes.
Well, I'm learning a lot today. But no, that's great. What's one of your top Oh, your top tips for skin of color in terms of protection. I know we talked about SPF earlier, but is there
That's
any?
great. You know, rule number one of the biggest is a couple like rules for protecting your face, protecting your skin barrier. You know, easy ones. When you're showering and you're washing your face, don't use hot water. I promise you, it will feel good, but your skin will regret it. Yeah, that's a big one. A lot of people don't know.
Oh
Uh,
man.
another big one Another big one is, you know, you should do your skincare at home. Even if you aren't going anywhere, do it. I promise you, it's about building a habit, right? It's something that's to be worked out like a muscle. The days you don't do it are the days you move backwards. So it's like fitness, you know. The other thing, keep your head like I promise. It's so easy. We do it. I think I've done it during this talk. It's like hands on the face. Don't do it. Do not touch your face with your hands if you can avoid, like during the day, don't do it. Obviously, you know, you wash your hands and then you do your skincare routine, but like during
Yeah,
the day, do not touch your face. I promise you
yeah.
that no matter how clean you think your hands are, you're inevitably putting bacteria on the face. You know, those are three easy ones. I think that you know we can definitely look at just simple improvements. Oh, drink lots of water. That's a big one.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, skin is obviously like you're even when you're not seeing it, especially if you live in a hot climate, you're sweating when even if you don't know. So making sure that you're drinking tons of water, you know, at least 64 ounces a day. That's a big thing. You know, the list goes on really.
The Him podcast says we better all take notes. I agree. um, Next question. So, how important are collaborations for you? Oh, we can't hear.
Collaborations are a good way for us to tap into different audiences and different audiences.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All
Okay, we're back. We're back.
right. Yeah, so collaborations, right? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you. But I think you're frozen.
Collaborations are really great. I think you know we have a couple collaborations coming out next year, but they're really great for us to think about. You know, there's two reasons we do collaborations. One is to be able to reframe what we want to do from a different lens. So we have you know a collaboration coming up with some good friends here in LA. You know, some stuff around sun protection. That's really great. And the idea is that how do we reframe our vision for skin health and look at it at a new lens, right? And also health for you know people of color. What are some health gaps and health disparities that we can answer through something that you know we build that's brand new that our audience hasn't seen from us, right? So there's that. I think the other side is that it gives us an opportunity to be creative in a different way than just saying, okay, here's a new skincare product for you to put on your face. So, you know, I think for us, collaborations are a great way to just be able to do things differently, think about things differently, and explore different issues that are tangential but still important, at least from the health perspective.
We have one last. So this is from Music by Thurston Ray. So, what advice do you have about maintaining a balanced skin tone, like under eye, etc.? Good.
Get lots of sleep. You know, I think having a good skincare routine is one of the big things. Your diet, your skin is going to be affected by a lot by your diet, how much sleep you're getting, you know, the kind of things that you're drinking or how much water you're drinking compared to how much coffee you're drinking. You know, these are all things that are going to help, especially if we think about like under the eye area, right? I
Mhm.
don't think that there are a lot of people who try to sell you like the under eye products. I think it's like
Yeah.
the caffeine stuff and you know that stuff. I mean, it can make your eyes seem puffy, you know, and to some people that's better. But truthfully, you know, it's really about your diet, your sleep, your exercise, your sweating, keeping your body in tip-top shape. And I think that there are certain things that are just genetic that you know it's up to us to decide whether or not we personally can live with that, especially in certain areas like the under the eye area.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't really use kind of under. Well, the ones I have used, they kind of give like the Vicks Vapor Rub effect, where it kind of like feels like it wakes up that area. But I haven't noticed that it I guess, brightens up my under eye area, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the under eye area is like, I mean, we you know, we're kind of skeptical about it, but I
Yeah.
think that, you know, as long as you're doing everything too, it's one of those things where it's like I wouldn't worry too much about it. You know, I'm sure you look great, you know, regardless of what the under of your eyes look like, so it's probably fine.
Well, Patrick, thank you for joining us. This has been a very insightful conversation.
Of
Um,
course.
I feel like all of us have definitely learned more about skincare. I definitely did. I am running to the store to get an SPF, and I will not be touching my face. One, because two, because you said not to. So yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm a huge fan of the brand, and we'll continue to use it. Any
Again, I
Oh,
know we,
sorry.
there we go. No, I mean, number one, thank you. Have been big supporters. You guys have been amazing. Uh, for like I think every moment, I think every interaction we've had has been really good. I'm really excited about what you guys are doing. You know, as far as like as far as I think with the culture that you're building, with really being a outlet for your community, for our community collectively, I think there's something really powerful in that. And I think that Moby, you guys just keep doing your thing. I think that we are really big believers in what you guys are doing. So we're excited to continue to working with you guys, collaborating, trying new things, and just seeing where it all goes. Especially in these days, I think where we need each other more than ever. So again, thank you guys for being able to share your platform with us. We're really excited to be here and really blessed. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. And yeah, stay tuned with Ceylon Skincare. And yeah, we will be in touch.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye.